oh, I'm losing confidence. Oh, I'm having a hard time with my Anki. Oh, I don't have enough time in my day. Oh, I like whatever. Those are usually symptoms of the deeper cause.
I'm Jamie. I'm a third year at the University of Utah. I am hoping to apply into diagnostic radiology. I got a 48% on the one. Yeah, I failed my OB-GYN shelf last year and I barely passed my neurology shelf, and I've really just struggled with feeling confident in test taking since then. My goal is just to pass step one confidently.
There's a vicious cycle that happens when people are struggling with these tests. And so tell me if you can relate to this. If we don't have the best approach to studying, we won't get the best results. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And if we don't get the best results and we see other people maybe not study as hard or have sacrificed as much as we have or stay as late in the library or whatever, and they're scoring better and they're doing less than we are, at least on the surface. And then when we get that UWorld block that's like low, then the natural thing is to be like, oh my God, I can't do this. Not today. And then we just like go off and make excuses to ourselves about like, oh, well, I don't know, today's not my day, or I should go clean my desk, or, oh, I need to like do some form of what they call productive procrastination, or just outright procrastination, right? One of the two. But like avoid the uncomfortable situation that reminds us of how bad we feel about our current situation and how, it's like, oh my God, I'm so far away from my goals. And so when people say like, oh, I'm losing confidence. Oh, I'm having a hard time with my Anki. Oh, I don't have enough time in my day. Oh, I like whatever. Those are usually symptoms of the deeper cause of like, I am not seeing good results when I study. And as a consequence, I feel bad about myself. And as a consequence of that, every time I study, it just reinforces this idea that, oh, I'm just not good enough, which is usually what drove a lot of us into medicine in the first place, because we were good academically when we were younger and we used academics as a way of sort of like covering for, you know, other insecurities or feelings like we're not good enough. Like the story of my life.
So, like, pretty much all of my class at this point has successfully taken step one and two and are getting ready to match in September. So it's hard not to compare myself to where I could be right now. Yeah.
Because let's flip it around. Let's say that every time you studied, you were getting 80% on the things that you studied. And you were like, dang, I got 100% on this block. Like, that's kind of cool. This is kind of new. This feels a little different. Do you think that you might feel a little bit more excited to study again?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Do you think you would do a few more questions and like, bounce back a little bit faster the next time? And
The momentum would be better.
yeah, exactly. So that comes from having the right approach, right? That comes from like, so in the beginning, this is why we will drag you literally across the like line of like getting 80% in a day within 3 or 4 blocks. Like everything is focused on that because we want to prove to you that you can do this. I want to show you that you can do this. So, and the reason is that what you end up seeing is there's a lot of people who will like study in a rushed way for step one, just try to take it as it's like, oh my gosh, like I've already been studying for 6 months. Oh man, if I study for one more month, that means I've studied for 7 months, right? Have you ever done that? We're like, oh, I'm going to study for 1 month. Oh, I'm not ready. I'm going to push it back 1 month. Okay, so now it's 2 months I've studied. Oh, I'm going to push it back one more month. Oh, now it's been 3 months, right? And we look back to figure out how long we've studied. But in reality, we haven't really been studying very effectively. And so most of the things that we learned, we forgot. And so our knowledge has actually been pretty flat over that time frame, as evidenced by our NBMEs and everything.
Sounds like my life over the
Sounds like
past
you
almost year now.
Knowledge gaps are not fixed in 2 weeks. You can't learn 2 years of medicine in 2 weeks. It's just not possible. We got to figure out, okay, so what is that realistic time frame? And because once you know that, because it's funny, like if I was like, okay, I need to become a concert violinist next week, I would panic, I would feel overwhelmed, whatever. But if you told me, okay, I'm 5 years old and I've got like 20 years, now I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe I could do it. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? So it's kind of the same thing, right? You don't want it to be so far in the future that you lose urgency, right? You don't want it to be like 2 years in the future because then it's like, then people just stop studying. Like we've seen that happen. Like, don't do that. But you also don't want it to be like 2 weeks in the future because you're like, because then you just feel overwhelmed. And then everything that you do feels like, oh man, I suck. Oh man, this isn't working. Oh man, I'm like, I can't do this. And then it just reinforces those bad beliefs that created that negative spiral in the first place. So it's like a Goldilocks scenario. You want to have like a reasonable time frame in terms of what it is that you give yourself for how long you're going to take your test.
I had an inkling that it was gonna need to be pushed out.
Yeah. What makes you say that? Why do you say that?
I think, well, also my progress since starting the program. I wish I would have found you guys like in December when I first started my leave of absence. That would have been phenomenal because then I would have had 6 months instead of, 1. And my progress since starting has also been slow. Like I've struggled to get through to meet the minimums for the subtopics. And so based on like my current progress where I'm sitting right now, I'm like, oh, I'm probably gonna realistically need to move it because the biggest, like in my mind, the worst outcome is failing it, or like and failing it maybe even in the sense of just going in and forcing myself to fail it because I lack the confidence to just going into the exam. So I just want to make sure I go in with confidence and pass it the first time.
There are lots of studies that were done before Step 1 went pass fail that showed a very strong correlation, like the strongest correlation between any one thing and your Step 2 score. It was your Step 1 score. Step 1 is the single best predictor of your Step 2 score. I would imagine that's still probably true, honestly. Like the students that we work with, like the two students before you, one of them scored a 260, one of them scored a 254 on the last NBME. That means that like your goal is not just to pass, your goal is to crush it. Radiology is pretty competitive. They also care a lot about your scores for better or
Yeah,
worse, right?
and the
And so it's
exams
like
don't go
anesthesia.
away.
Yeah, same thing, right? And so it's like you're going to have to solve because right now, objectively, right, like 48% is like less than the bottom 1%. You probably, to get into diagnostic radiology, want to be at least in the 250s, ideally 260s, which is like top 20, top 10%. If you're a medical student or a doctor preparing for either the USMLEs or COMLEX or one of your medical board exams, then be sure to sign up for our free 14-step program where we'll walk you through the most efficient ways for you to improve your score in a short period of time. And if you're interested in getting there faster, be sure to book a free call with our team where we'll break down what it is that's holding you back and, if it makes sense, explain how it is that we can help you to get there more efficiently. It's doable. We've certainly helped a lot of people do things similar to that. It's just that you just have to put one foot in front of the other and do the right things in the right order. Because what you want to do is you want to study on these rotations, right? Like, so surgery is going to be the hardest, but like neuro and psych, easily you can study. And then bugs and drugs is perfect, right? I mean, because if you just got really, really good at that thing, so like use your neuro rotation to get really good at neuro, use your psych rotation to get really good at psych, use surgery to get good at a lot of the general organ systems. So like, especially GI, my guess is there's going to be a lot of GI because it sounds like more of a general surgery kind of thing. Is that right?
I'll be on the colorectal team.
Perfect. So great for GI, right? So like you get really good at GI, really good at psych, really good at neuro. Probably, you can also like throw in like maybe cardio, pulm, something like that on surgery. Heart, kidneys, GI on surgery. And you got really good at neuro and psych on neuropsych. And then bugs and drugs will be like more internal medicine type stuff. So you can get good at lungs, pharm, so like antibiotics, micro, immuno. If you just focused on just getting really good at like a small number of things. So by the end of those rotations, you were good at that. Even on a busy rotation, oftentimes you can have still 2 hours a day to study. It's just that most people make the mistake of trying to study 2 hours after they come home, which
Yeah.
is just impossible. Like on a busy rotation, especially if you're like, more of an introverted type and you're like on your feet in the OR all day and getting pimped. Like it's just like, it was like, that was me, by the way. So it's like more, I mean, a little more on the introverted side. And like, I was exhausted by the time I got home. So like, there's no way that I'm going to study when I get home. Just impossible. Right. So I just had to do my studying before I went into the hospital. So I just went to bed really early and I woke up really early and I just did my studying then.
I can do that.
Yeah, yeah, right? And so it's like, yeah, it's hard to wake up. It's hard to go to bed at 7:30 and wake up at 3:30. It is hard, but it's also very hard to like after 14 hours in the OR, like standing on your feet and like retracting, to come home and study for 2 hours, right? Just choose your
Yeah.
heart. Right? It's like that's the game. Whatever it takes to just block off any possible thing that could possibly distract you, because like you have to fight procrastination is really the game, right? Because you don't feel like no one feels good about themselves when they've been studying this long and they see their friends, getting ready to match and like all this stuff. Like it feels crappy, right?
Pretty bad.
Um, you have to remove the option of procrastinating. Like I've got really bad ADHD. People think I'm really disciplined. It's not. I just took away the internet at critical times of the day. That's it. So I just did not give myself the option of distracting myself with all of the things that I would normally just, distract myself with. Email, news, Instagram, social media, YouTube, whatever. So cut out all of those things. So use something like freedom to just like cut anything that could possibly be distracting to you. You need to have a realistic goal for yourself of how it is you're going to do it. Because then once you know that, then it's like, okay, so you don't have to worry about studying everything in a week. You just have to make sure that you get really, really good at coronary artery disease today. Can you do that?
No, this has been very, very helpful. Thank you.
I'm glad. So yeah, so just do the cards, do as many cards as you can. Like if you're not getting 80% fast enough, it's usually a content problem. So just do more of the cards that we gave you, do more of the drills, watch those lessons, do the lessons. Like front load all of that, do all of that, try to do all of that in one day. Just learn all of it. And then do the questions that same day.
Okay.
And then I think you'll see a difference, right? Because then you'll be like, oh, I knew that. Oh yeah, that wasn't a card. Oh yeah, I knew that, right? And then you'll be like, oh, this is kind of fun. I can do this. This is actually totally doable, right? And then you'll want to study more. And because what we want is in the next 2 weeks, we want you to start to be running. Because when you start to be running, then when you're on your rotation, then it won't be so hard because you'll know everything that you need to do. So I don't really care how many topics you do and stuff like that. I care that you know how to do a topic in a day.
Okay.
In 3 or 4 subtopic blocks, like 3 or 4 or 5 question blocks, you can get to 80% within those 3 to 4 blocks. Cool?
Good plan. I like it.
All right, Jamie. I'm excited for you. I think like you have the like personality and like character traits that I think will serve you very well.
What if you could walk into step 1 already knowing you'll pass? In my next video, I break down the exact 10-step framework that virtually guarantees you'll pass. Not through luck or grinding harder, but through a systematic approach that just works. Click here to watch how to virtually guarantee a step 1 pass and get the system now.